Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing great today. Welcome to another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. I am so excited to be with you today. I'm Trish Carr, your host, and this broadcast is all about getting to know the people behind the business because we do business with people. Yes, we're doing business for the business. Certainly, we want to know the reputation of the business, how they work with people, but it's actual people that you connect with that creates that business, whether it be the person who bags your groceries at the grocery store, or whether it's the bank teller you see on a regular basis. Those are the people that make up the business. And in this case, we are going to meet an incredible CEO, a woman who is on a mission to show small businesses how they can be big businesses without the huge resources and investment required. So they are on a mission so that you can plan your business, handle your time, have the money you need, have the automation you need to get the finance, to get the freedom that you want, that we all went into business for. Right? So please help me welcome the incredible Anna Brooks to the broadcast today. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, Trish. What a pleasure to be on a call with the amazing Trish Carr.
Thank you so much. I feel the same way about you. I feel the same way about you. Anna is right now, what she shows people is the number one habit of multimillionaires. And when you know this and you know how it works, oh my gosh, it changes your business, doesn't it?
Changes your whole life.
Yes, yes. So do you do training classes? How does that work? How do you get that message out?
Well, we actually do a training class every month on the second Thursday of every month. And then we follow that up with 13 weeks of habit strengthening Zoom calls to help you build that habit and make it a part of your life.
I really like that because so many times we whip a little training on ourselves, but we don't have the consistent, let me put it into action, get some feedback on how I'm doing, tweak it a little, put it into action again. Like that's what makes the skill work.
It is because questions pop up and you can't always stop your day to go get the question answered. But if you know that every week you're on a Zoom call, that you can ask that question and get the answers. How do I do this? This didn't work, or, I'm having trouble with this. That's where you go. And it takes 21 days to build a habit. We all know that. But it takes 90 days to make it into a lifestyle.
Oh, I'm writing that down. That's tweetable. 90 days to make it your lifestyle. So really 21 days, you've created the habit, but before you know it, your old way of being is going to pull you back.
Right in.
Yeah, slowly but surely you find yourself doing what you were doing before. So that's really good to make sure that you're diligent for 90 days because that's really when the habit is ingrained in you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. You're fantastic. Anna is a brilliant woman who is quiet. You're a quiet person. You're not one that's, out there and shouting, and you are quietly brilliant.
Oh,
You are.
That testimony.
Well, and when you were talking, we were talking before about, you went from being fearful to being fearless, and you were brought up to be seen and not heard. So tell me a little bit about your background in terms of, I remember you saying that you learned the best places to hide. What was going on with that?
Well, I love these stories behind the stories that tell about the person. And I was born into a 1950s family. My father was abusive and alcoholic. And
physically abusive also, Anna?
Physically abusive as well,
oh.
yeah. And of course, I was the only girl. There's 5 kids, 4 boys. I was the only girl. So I was kind of a little precious, and I didn't get as bad as the boys did.
Right.
But I remember one time, 5 years old, I think, and he was tickling me, had me between his legs, and he was tickling me, and we're laughing and everything. It got to be too much, and I started getting scared. And I was saying, stop, stop, stop. And he wouldn't stop, so I smacked him. Of course, I'd seen him smack everybody else, right?
Oh.
And he literally lifted me from between his legs and hit me in the stomach. And I hit the far wall of the living room and put a dent in it. So, yes, it was physically violent.
How old were you?
I was about 5 at that time.
Wow, Anna.
Yeah. I remember broken doors, broken screen doors. I mean, the police bringing him back even after he was violent and telling him, it's his house. So if you're going to live here, you're going to do it. You own him. And so, it was physically violent for all of us. And I learned to stay out of the way, to do what I was told, what they said I should. And when I could feel the temperature rising, I would go and hide. And my brother's room was all 4 of them in one room and in bunk beds, always. And they never threw away their trash. They didn't, dirty clothes, whatever. And I would hide under the lowest bed back in the corner and pull all the dirty clothes and trash up to me so nobody could see me when they looked under. And when they finally figured that out, I used to climb the apple tree and sit in there as quiet as I could. So, yeah, I was very fearful.
I can't imagine. I mean, okay, so I can relate. My dad, too, was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
The only person he got violent with was my mom and my brother. So I didn't have to deal with being hit with that. But I can't imagine. What? Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like for you to, try to stay under the radar. Did your parents stay together? Are they still around?
No. We tried to escape him a couple of times. And finally, when I was about 11, we got out and we hid in a hotel room for a while. And then we moved into a little house they helped us get. My mom went on to welfare. And so at 12 years old, I was pretty much out of it. But my mom had this psychological thing, and she would just start screaming and yelling, because she'd had it. She was scared all the time.
Yeah.
And so I started doing the dishes at 8 years old. I started making dinner at 8 years old. And I would help with the laundry. I was the one who counted all the kids to make sure everybody was in the car and out of the car. I just became very responsible, and I was doing what I should.
So you were responsible at a really young age, which really probably was a pro in terms of giving you a good life skill.
Isn't that the truth?
Right? Taking care of people, being responsible, being accountable, getting things done so you don't get yelled at or hit.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't get hurt.
Right.
It was my safety valve in my place.
Right.
And that worked. It worked until I reached 16 and you get that, all 16-year-olds, I want to get out of the house. Well, I did. I got married at 16. 11 months later, I had a baby at 17.
Wow.
And at 18, I went to visit my mom because I was living in another state by then. I went to visit my mom, and my husband would not pay for my trip home. He told me to get a job and pay for my own trip home. So I was separated at 18, divorced at 19. And then I said, I'm taking, I've got to do something to bring a paycheck in because I had to take care of my baby. Right?
Wow.
So I did. I went through training through the state. I became a clerk. And I worked from that position to, at 28 years old, I was a product marketing manager for a very large company. And I was in the top 2% of women earners at 28.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting? It's so not unusual for children of alcoholics or children who are brought up in abusive situations to be so stellar as adults.
Yeah. Right, and we are still. We're absolutely wonderful, and we're accountable, and we're great employees. But I'm still afraid. It's that paycheck, you know. And my brothers moved in with us. I went ahead and rented a house, and I had my mom and my son with me, and my brothers started moving back in. And pretty soon I was supporting a family of 7 on one income.
Wow.
And I was back to
The
fear.
good thing you were a top earner.
Yeah. But I was still living in fear. And I did that for a long time. And then one day I was walking through the living room and the TV was on. And for some reason, Jean Meyer was on there. Jean Meyer. She's a great Christian speaker. And as I
yeah.
And as I walked across the room, I heard, and you know, you got to pay attention to that still small voice. When something comes through, there's a reason. And she said, "You got to stop shoulding on yourself."
In that Southern accent she has.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, shouldn't. I'm a shoulder. I do what everyone else thinks I should. And what should I do? If I shouldn't, what should I do? And that changed my mindset of, you know, what do I want? What is it that I want out of life? And 2 years later, I got married for the second time. I did not ever think I would get married again, honestly. And I had 20 of the best years. And those are the years when I left corporate America and I entered business ownership. And I tried all the network marketing, the direct sales. I wanted to find a company where I could side hustle because I wanted independence. I didn't want a paycheck. I knew at least that much. And then, of course, all the network marketing companies, you know, they have you, you know, have these seminars and classes and stuff where you meet with multimillionaires and they teach you. And I took lots of notes. I'm great at taking notes. And we built a couple of businesses. My husband was an electrical contractor, so he had his business and he had a side hustle, and I had a side hustle. And we raised our daughter, and then he passed away. I lost my mom, my great aunt, whom I was caring for, and my husband all in 3 years.
Oh my goodness, Anna, what? That's like boom, boom, boom right after each other. You just get over grieving for one and then you lose another.
Exactly. And that's when I realized, you know, getting a legal service plan was the best thing that I could do. But I did that long before. They did wonderful things for me. I barely remember the year he died. But the law firm walked me through everything I needed to do. I barely remember that year because I was so overwhelmed. But that launched me. I was it. I had to make all my decisions. For the first time in my life, I was living on my own at 60 years old. 60 years old, and I'm like, it's up to me. And
now
so,
what?
Yeah, exactly. So I started making decisions, and in the process of packing to move to a house that was a lot smaller, you know, and a further distance from town because I needed the space, I found all these journals all these notes that I'd been taking. So I set aside a little time each week and I would read some of them. And I started taking notes and I started realizing a lot of things were similar. And the one thing I realized is that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And all millionaires teach you how to use those hours, but they call it time management. So you think you can manage your time.
That's the concept.
I'm like, but you can't. So started putting down, you know, taking these notes and putting them down, and I focused on my businesses and, you know, took care of my family and invested. I started a couple of businesses. At one point I had 7 streams of income coming in.
Wow, Anna, you go, girl.
Well, you know, what did I learn? To do it. Just be accountable. To do the things you need to do. And I did.
To be responsible. And you know what? Those 7 streams of income, some of them are probably still paying you today, even though you're not doing the business anymore, right?
Not, oh, I'm still doing the business, 19 years. But
Well, I'm talking about like legal
service
shield. I stopped.
income, yeah, that's
Yeah,
service income. And people keep their memberships because I help them remember to use it.
right.
Because
So you get paid on the memberships and they keep it and you get paid. You continue to get paid even though you sold them 10 years ago.
Yes, 20 years
Yeah.
ago. They have memberships that were on board since the day I started Legal Shield. So
Yeah.
pretty proud of that. I have a 90% plus retention rate.
Wow, that is great, really. And seriously, because that will pay you when you're not working the business anymore.
And it'll
That's
pay
what we talk about.
on.
Yes, exactly. That's what we talk about is that residual income that, yes, you maintain the relationship with the client, but you don't have to service the client every single day. You service them in the beginning and then you touch on them in between.
And you're not.
And that's how millionaires do it.
Exactly. Exactly. It's little disciplines, as Jeff Olson teaches, the slight edge. Simple daily disciplines on an ongoing basis change your life. Now, I used to think habits were a bad thing. You know, I had a smoking habit for a lot of years. And I always thought habits were a bad thing, but they're not. You choose your habits. You choose your life. And one of the hardest things for us is keep our boundaries. Because family wants to encroach, business wants to encroach, you know, the community, all this stuff wants to encroach on your time and your efforts. And those are boundaries. And it's hard to say no. Where did I learn that one? When you use your calendar and you journal, those boundaries are built in. And inch by inch, they will change your life. My family used to call me any time of day and expect me to stay on the phone for as long as, of course, you know, I'm quote unquote retired.
Yes, right. You have all the time in the world. You're quote unquote retired, yet you're working.
Yeah. So I started asking them to text first. And then I moved them to say, you know, I'll talk to you all day long on Sunday. Anytime after 1 o'clock on Sunday, hey, you know, and it took a while, but I wouldn't respond to the calls unless they texted. I wouldn't listen to the messages until the end of the day. And why didn't you call me back? Or they call me 2 or 3 times. Well, if it's an emergency, you know how to reach me. So I would just hold the boundary. And now my family calls me on Sunday afternoons.
Yay.
Or like the text I just got from my oldest daughter. Give me a call as soon as you can. That's it.
Yeah.
Emergency, they just say emergency.
Yeah. And, you know, you talk about boundaries, and it's also the boundaries that we do our best to hold. So, for example, we talked about how you didn't want to displease anyone. You certainly want to be a people pleaser. And I have to say, I have that as well. That comes out of my alcoholic family childhood.
Absolutely.
But for me, what the people pleasing was as soon as my dad would go off or there would be a fight, I would run in and try to fix it.
Yeah.
And I still do that. And that's a boundary that I need to hold myself accountable to not do. Right? Because, you know, Mary and Susie aren't talking to each other. I have to go in and fix that. But that's not up to me. And that's my own thing, my boundary, right? So as a people pleaser, I speak for myself, I tend to run in and want to fix everything.
I want to fix it. I want to fix it. But I have taught my family to catch me. I have said, if you want me just to hear you and I start trying to fix things, tell me, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to fix it. They want to be heard. Like every other person in the world, they want to be heard. That's all.
That is so true. They don't want you to fix it. They just want to be heard. Yeah. So for all you people pleasers out there like me, let's remember that's really good advice. Let people vent, but don't fix it. Unless they say, can you fix this? And even then you have to ask yourself, is that what I should be doing?
Is that what I'm really here for?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And where's that going to take me? Does it take me out of my priorities? Does it take me out of my calendar? And a lot of people, you know, They just assume your time. And that's why I time block. And, if you go to my business card, AnnaMBrooks.com, you'll see a color blocking legend. So you can color block your calendar. I have certain times that are just for me. That's the time where I clean my kitchen, vacuum the floors, do my skincare. I have those times set aside just for me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't book an appointment during that time. But the times you can book an appointment, you can hit the little green button on my digital business card. It says book a call and set an appointment at your convenience. But
Tell me about the digital business card, because I know that's something that you use yourself and that you recommend that small business owners use, A, because it's going to save you time, B, because it's going to help you get more clients, and C, everything is there that you need. So tell us a little bit about that, if you wouldn't mind.
I've stopped using my website because the Shuffle business card that I use, the digital business card, is it does everything for me. I mean, literally, I can put everything on the card, and I have several of them. I have one just for Legal Shield, and I have one, for birthdays and holidays, and I have one for my property management business, and then I have a hub card, which is what the AnnaMBrooks.com is about. And I'm creating a card for Seek-Wise Counsel, which helps take people after they've learned the habit, the number one habit, and they've gotten that in gear, how to take that and streamline, systemize, and automate their business. So I have a card for that. And then I have a speaker card, and somebody who goes to my speaker card, they can print my bio, they can get my picture, they can see my book, any links that I have that have to do with speaking, samples, that kind of thing. It's all on my speaker card. And that costs me, I think, $30 a month.
And everything is there. So all you have to say is, here's my speaker card. If you want, here's my everything you need. What's the one QR code? That was the other thing you mentioned.
I love the one QR code. QR codes have been around for 50 years. But the QR codes that were out there, you had to have one designed for the information that you wanted. And the information that you wanted displayed, or that they would get to, was encoded inside the actual QR picture itself. Well, the one QR code is an evergreen QR code. And I have several of them, but you have one QR code. Let's say you're a network marketer, or doing health and wellness, and it's all product based, and you have regular specials. Well, you have one QR code for your overall business, and it takes you right to that website, or sales marketing, wherever you want them. But when you have a sale or you have a recruitment event, you can literally use the same QR code, go in and change the link that it goes to, and now it goes to your sales or recruiting program.
So that no matter where you are, when somebody clicks that QR code, they're going to get the most current information.
As long as you're keeping it up, absolutely.
That is good. So you can get that. What'd you say?
I said it's magical.
It is.
Yes.
And I love that you give it away at your website.
I do.
So it's really, I think that everybody, the QR code is so great to have, but to be able to have one that you don't have to change every time, and that people will have it on
your business owner. Even realtors, or anybody who uses, signing information, business cards, whatever, you have a QR code that literally says what you wanted to say at any point in time at a very low cost.
Yeah.
I can go in and post on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, I just put in the code and off it goes, and they have it forever. But they can go into, at any point in time, they can open that QR code. They may not be sure where they're going. They may be going to my regular page, or they may be going to my sales page. But it stays alive. It doesn't change. And what an inexpensive way to not have somebody have to constantly update your website, update pictures. And websites are great for medium, large-sized companies. But when you're starting out and you need quick access and quick information at a price you can afford, this to me was magic. And LFI.com created it, and it, people, I mean, realtor companies are jumping on board because they can literally post a sign in front of a
A house.
community, right?
Mhm.
No, a community at the front door of the community that they're selling a house in. And that QR code will give them directions to whatever house there is, whatever open house there is.
Wow.
It'll actually draw the map and GPS them.
Wow.
That's the right property.
Oh my gosh. So, first of all, Anna is really full of it. She's
Yeah, I'm
full.
full of it.
She's full of it. She's full of this kind of easy hacks that give you time back. Because when you can just say, here's the QR code, and all I had to do was change the link it went to, it saves me so much work on the other end. So
Absolutely.
the types of things that Anna does for her clients is just that. She shows you how you can reclaim time, how you can automate things so that you actually get the freedom you want, which is the reason you went into business, right?
Exactly. We want to help people, but we want to have a life too.
Yes,
And one of the
absolutely.
is that we only have 24 hours. You cannot have 2 or 3 calendars. You're tying up all those out, put all of your things on one calendar, color block them so you know what they are, and put the details on the inside.
That's the best piece of advice right there.
Laura Barker taught us, LinkedIn updates at these times on these days. And I put that in my calendar and I marked it as free time because they're 2-hour windows. It only takes me 20 minutes to go in and update LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
So I left it as a free hour so I could book appointments in there, but I can see that I need to do an update at that time. And I squeeze out 15 minutes and go do it.
That's great. Yeah. And I was going to say, if you were to give one piece of advice, that sounds like a good piece of advice to support you in claiming your time.
Exactly. There's one habit, when I teach the habits, I teach one particular habit to do with discovery calls that can save you as much as 2 hours per workday. And in a year's time, that's 13 days.
Wow.
Up with one of those tools.
So Anna, should I go to your website to find out when you're doing your classes, and where's the best way to get that?
I'm going to recommend that you don't do it right now. I'm going to post this on my Facebook page. I'm going to post it on LinkedIn. I'll post it on Women's Prosperity Network. We are going global at the end of this month. And so all of the access is going to be centralized and easy to find. And it will be on the digital business card then.
Yay!
That little package together, but we'll be global and we'll be in multiple languages.
Wow. That's so awesome. Before we go, tell everybody about your book.
My book. Oh. The itty bitty book. WPN Experts book #1. We're working on #2 right now. And it talks about color blocking, why and how, and what your calendar means to you. Very short, but I'm in there with 13 other women experts, and I'm telling you, when you sign up for my class, put in your mailing address and you'll get a copy of that book.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Anna Brooks, you are amazing. And thank you so much for sharing your story, because I know I relate to where you were and how you came up. And the fact that you're so resilient and you're so together now, like you know what you're doing. You got your, I know it's not always, like we all have moments.
It happened upside the face, yep.
Yep, it's
But the
behind you now.
Back home.
Yes. It was wonderful to have you, Anna. Thank you so much for being with us and for sharing your wisdom and for so openly sharing your story, because when you openly share yours, it gives us permission to do the same. So thank you so much for that.
Permission to be successful. Whatever it is you want to do, give yourself permission to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
Life is and that's what we're created for.
Yes, that's why we're here on the planet. Thank you for all you do, Anna, for everyone and for everyone in this community and for everyone at large. I'm so excited for you going global at the end of February. It's a leap year. You got an extra day to go global. So Thanks for being with me. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us and listening to today's broadcast. I am looking forward to seeing you again next week. Remember, you can get your free membership started at womensprosperitynetwork.com. If you're in the Facebook group, go there right now and get started for free. There's so much to be said for what's available in this incredible community. And Anna Brooks is one of the amazing women you have the opportunity to connect with throughout inside this community. So thank you all for being with us. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Anna, do you have a final word? Looks like you want to say something.
I love Women's Prosperity Network so much that on my digital business card, you will find that free membership button.
Isn't she the best? She's the best. Get in touch with Anna. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Enjoy whatever it is you do. And we'll see you again next time on another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. Bye-bye, everybody.